Sean "Diddy" Combs, one of the biggest names in the music industry, has been arrested, facing serious criminal charges that could end his career for good. The federal government has officially indicted the hip-hop mogul, accusing him of racketeering, sex trafficking, and other crimes. This marks a significant moment in his legal troubles, which have been escalating for months. Diddy is now in the hands of the justice system, and we are going to break down all the details of what happened and what this means for him going forward. Before we get into the full story, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates. Sean Combs, also known as Puff Daddy or Diddy, was arrested earlier this week at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Manhattan after being officially charged by the Southern District of New York. His arrest follows months of investigation into a series of allegations, many of which involve sexual abuse, trafficking, and intimidation. The charges are the result of multiple lawsuits and testimonies from victims who claim Diddy abused his power to exploit them for his personal gain. This case traces back to last year, when Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassandra "Cassie" Ventura filed a lawsuit against him, accusing him of years of abuse, including physical, sexual, and emotional violence. That lawsuit was settled quickly, but it set off a chain of events. Soon after, other individuals came forward with their own allegations, and lawsuits began piling up against Diddy. The accusations were disturbing, ranging from sex trafficking to drug distribution and even violent assaults. By March of this year, Homeland Security agents raided Diddy's homes in both Miami and Los Angeles, seizing what was described as a large amount of evidence. This confirmed that the federal government was officially investigating him for sex trafficking. It wasn't until this week, though, that the situation culminated in Diddy's arrest. Let's dive into the charges. The indictment lists three main charges: racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Each of these charges is serious, but when combined, they paint a picture of a large-scale criminal operation. According to federal prosecutors, Diddy allegedly used his wealth, power, and connections to create a criminal enterprise that involved employees, business partners, and close associates. They accuse him of using this enterprise to commit a range of crimes, from sex trafficking and forced labor to arson and bribery. Prosecutors claim that for decades, Combs used violence, threats, and coercion to control his victims, making them engage in sex acts and other illegal activities. Racketeering is at the center of this case. The government believes that Diddy's actions weren't isolated incidents, but part of a larger organized operation. In legal terms, racketeering refers to criminal activity carried out as part of an enterprise. Think of it as a web of crimes committed by a group of people working together to achieve a common goal. In this case, prosecutors say that Diddy's goal was to maintain his power, protect his reputation, and satisfy his desires. In addition to racketeering, Diddy is also facing charges related to sex trafficking. Prosecutors allege that Diddy used force, fraud, and coercion to make his victims engage in commercial sex acts, and he transported people across state lines and internationally for these purposes. They say that many of these crimes took place at events known as freak-offs, where Diddy would host elaborate sex parties involving multiple victims and commercial sex workers. The indictment also details how Diddy allegedly drugged his victims, providing them with substances like ketamine and ecstasy to keep them compliant during these events. According to the government, these freak-offs sometimes lasted for days, and Diddy kept videos of the acts that occurred. The raid on Diddy's homes earlier this year turned up a shocking amount of evidence. Authorities reportedly found drugs, weapons, and over 1,000 bottles of personal lubricants and other items used during these events. This evidence forms the backbone of the government's case against Diddy, and they believe it will be enough to convict him. Now, Diddy's defense team has argued that he should be released on bail while he awaits trial. They point out that he has been cooperative throughout the investigation, even traveling to New York voluntarily and offering to turn himself in. His lawyers have proposed a $50 million bail package, which includes his Miami home as collateral and restrictions on his travel. They argue that Diddy is not a flight risk and that he should be allowed to remain free while preparing his defense. However, federal prosecutors disagree. They argue that Diddy is dangerous and poses a significant risk to the community. They believe that if he is released, he may try to obstruct justice by intimidating witnesses or destroying evidence. They also point out that Diddy has access to large amounts of money and could easily flee the country if he wanted to. The court has sided with the prosecution for now, and Diddy remains behind bars. The federal government has built a strong case against Diddy, supported by a large amount of evidence and the testimonies of over 50 victims and witnesses. Many of these witnesses claim to have seen or experienced the abuse firsthand, and their accounts are consistent with the physical evidence that was seized during the raids. This case is being compared to other high-profile cases involving celebrities and allegations of abuse, like those of Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein. The government has made it clear that no one is above the law, and they intend to hold Diddy accountable for his actions. If convicted, Diddy faces a minimum of 15 years in prison, but he could potentially spend the rest of his life behind bars. This marks a dramatic fall for one of the most influential figures in music and entertainment, and the consequences of this case will likely ripple across the industry. As this story develops, more details are expected to emerge. Prosecutors have hinted that there may be additional charges or co-conspirators named in the future. Diddy's defense team will likely fight hard to prove his innocence, but the evidence against him is extensive, and the legal battle ahead will be long and difficult. This case highlights the growing movement to hold powerful individuals accountable for their actions, especially those who have used their influence to exploit others. It's clear that the era of impunity for the rich and famous is coming to an end, and Diddy's case may be one of the most significant examples of this shift. As we continue to follow this case, we'll keep you updated on any new developments. What do you think about the charges against Diddy? Do you believe justice will be served, or is there more to the story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you stay updated on all the latest celebrity news and legal cases. Thanks for watching.